Hey guys, welcome. So I am going to just share with you guys some tips on how to stay motivated when writing your first book. So I actually Googled and then I also wanted to tell you guys some of my personal tips. I have a list of 5 personal tips. So Google said to focus in a quiet environment, um, make a word goal or a daily goal. So whether that's like I want to write a page a day, whether that's I want to do 1,000 words a day, whichever way you want to do it. And then they also say to remind yourself of why you want to write, why you decided to write. And another point they made is to switch up your writing environment. So I'm writing an extra tip. Switch up your writing environment. So like I recommend writing like at the park or I don't recommend, they do say be in a quiet area. For me as a writer, I don't necessarily recommend a completely quiet environment all the time. I like to write in environments where there's other things going on. So it just depends on you as a writer. But go to the park, go near the lake, anywhere that you can write, and pick up on your senses and get your creativity going, like the things that you smell, you see, you hear. You know what I'm saying? Because when you write, you do have to be very descriptive. So going out and out in a different atmosphere and paying attention to those senses can help you as a writer to realize the senses that are necessary for your characters. So y'all, excuse me. I'm trying like I wear an afro like every day now, and I'm trying to figure out methods to keep my afro alive without just going to bed with it all over my head. I don't like the method I just tried, but that's beside the point. So I wrote down 6 points. Originally I had 5, but I thought of another one I forgot. I wrote down 6 of my personal points of ways to stay motivated. So my first point is to read, and not just read. It depends on what inspires you to write. You have to remember what inspires you to write. For me, reading other books inspired me to write. So I think whatever creative medium originally sparked your interest in wanting to write, indulge in that, overly indulge in that. I try to read every single day. Like I'm either reading or writing every day. You either need to read or watch a movie, watch a show. Because when I first decided to write this novel, I was watching the show on Netflix called The Stranger, and just the different pieces and the writing, like I just loved it. I loved that show, and I recommend it to everybody. So when I watched The Stranger, I was like, oh, I should write a book about X Y Z or whatever. And so I end up not going with that idea, but it is what started me on the path to writing a novel again. Um, so with that being said, whether it's a book that inspires you, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a movie, indulge in that. Like I said, for me, it's books. I like to read books. I love reading. I love everything about books. So that is where my creative juices flow. So whatever that is for you, whether it's reading, whatever art form motivates you, even if it's looking at art, like going to the art museum, whatever form of art motivates you in your craft, that's what you should indulge in. And for me, it's reading. I like to read. And one of my biggest recommendations is if yours is reading, or even if it's a movie or whatever, find somebody local to your city that has already published or produced that medium. Like somebody, if yours is watching a movie, find somebody in your local city that has already produced their first movie, even if it's just on YouTube. Find somebody, if it's a book, for me it's a book, find an author in your city, because it helps you to realize that people, because I used to feel like when I was younger, before well, I always wanted to write a book, but when I was younger, I used to be like, oh, if I was from New York, because like a lot of my favorite authors were in New York. So like Tracy Brown, Kawan, Noor, they're all New York writers. And I used to be like, oh, if I was just from, and if anybody know the poet Kira J, oh, if I was just from New York, I would be able to be artsy like that and yada yada yada. And it's like, no, there are people in your city doing it too. So I stumbled across an author named Kay Elle, and she really motivated me. I read her first book, and I actually just bought another one of her books, and she really motivated me to know that I can write. I don't have to write like other people. I can write and I'll be fine. So that's my big thing. If it's movies, if it's a show, if it's a book, find somebody local that has done it already, that has successfully completed it. Whether it has gone to mainstream where they're popular or whether they're not. Just find them and read their content or watch their content so you can know, look, I can do it too. My second thing is to decide, which I guess that should have been my first thing. Decide. Make a decision. Life is about decisions. It's just like in a relationship. When you decide you like somebody and you want to be with them, that's what you do. There's no other thought to it. And with all the ups and downs that come with that relationship, you stick it out because that's what you want to do. Or when you decide to leave that relationship, despite all the crying and begging they decide to do, you made the decision that you're going to leave them and you leave. And it's the same thing with writing a book. Make the decision. Are you going to publish or are you not? That's it and that's all. If you're going to publish, okay, get down and get to writing. I'm going to publish. This is my goal. I may not publish in a month like I would prefer. I may not publish tomorrow, but I'm going to publish. And with that being said, I actually just added another tip. 3, you cannot skip the process. You're going to have hard days. You're going to have good days, but you can't skip the process. You can't go from the thought of a book to published. That's just not how it goes. So with that being said, just accept the process, embrace it. Embrace it. That is my tip number 3. Embrace the process. So 1, read and indulge in whatever creativity motivated you to write in the first place. 2, decide that this is what you're going to do no matter what. And 3, whether you're going to do this or no matter what. And 3, embrace the struggle. Embrace the ups and downs that comes with it. So then my 4th one was number 4, reminder. Remind yourself why you wanted to do this, why you wanted to write the book, why you wanted to share this story. And in most cases, you want to share this story because you had a beautiful story on the inside of you that you want to share with the world. So don't deprive us of your story. We want to read it. We want to hear from you as an author. And don't you ever forget that. Number 5 is accountability. Always find somebody has to hold you accountable. Like for me, I tell my friends and my family, like the people I talk to on a normal basis that know I'm writing a book, well, the people that knew before I announced it to the world, like I said, reading is what motivates me. So anytime you see me out, you should be able to like, where's your book? And I should be able to pull out a book and show you. Now, if I just made a 2-minute trip to the store and back home, that's different. But anytime I'm spending an extended amount of time out of the house, I keep a book with me because you never know when you'll have downtime to sit down and read or indulge in whatever your medium is for your, for your creativity. So I tell all my friends and family, that my close people that keep me accountable, make sure I have a book at all times. And check on me. So I think community is important. I'm a firm believer in God. I love the Lord, and I have learned in my walk with Christ that community is important, and you guys have to understand that as well. Community is huge, which means find your 1 or 2, even if it's just one person that you know will hold you accountable and keep you motivated and keep you on your P's and Q's. You need that friend that's going to call and say, hey, did you write today? Or even at the end of the week, hey, how much did you write this week? Or hey, have you written this week? Or hey, how far along are you in your book? Accountability. And if you don't have anybody to hold you, because everybody doesn't have good friends, everybody doesn't have family. Sometimes people are by themselves in the world. So one thing I do want to tell you guys, you're never by yourself. God said he will never leave you nor forsake you, so you are never by yourself. So if you don't have a person on this earth that can hold you accountable, please reach out to me. I will hold you accountable. I will check in with your book because I care about your story and I want you to get published. So please, I will gladly be your friend. I will gladly be your motivator. I will gladly be your writing buddy to hold you accountable. So if you need somebody, feel free to DM me, okay? Feel free to message me. Feel free to email me, and we can definitely stay in contact. Okay, 6 is focus. Focus, focus, focus. You definitely, it's just like what they said on Google. You have to find time to focus on your writing. You can't always push it to the side. You can't always decide to write amongst chaos like I do. You have to sometimes take the time, whether it's waking up early, whether it's staying up late, whether it's just secluding yourself for a while. You have to find the time to sit down and focus on the goal at hand. And my last number, where are we at? 8, 7, 8? I think we're at 7. Which 7 is my favorite number, the number of completion. So thank you, God. Listen, my final and most important one is be yourself. Be yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other writers. Stop wondering why somebody was able to do theirs in a certain amount of time that you couldn't do yours. Stop looking at other people like, oh, they wrote this good, I can't write that good. Stop it. There's an audience for everybody. It's like when people use the Wonder Bread, like the bread aisle. It's a zillion different bread companies in the bread aisle, and it's actually more than that. It just depends on where that company's bread is. You know, where they get where you can access that bread, because you can go to bakeries and find other breads. Do not compare yourself. God has an area for you. God has a path for you. God has an audience specifically for you. You do not have to be like nobody else. I want you to be you. Your story would not be good if you weren't you. That's just what it is. So be yourself. Write according to what is comfortable for you. They say, like, if you Google like the amount of pages to be considered a novel, like it's 50 to 70,000 words is a novel. If you only do 30,000, I don't care. Publish your book. There is a category for whatever amount of words you decide to write, for whatever genre you decide to write. Just write your book. And what you need to know is your hustle is what determines your platform. You can't sit back and wait for somebody to do it for you. You have to love your craft. You have to love what you are doing, no matter what. You can do this. I believe in you. I want to hear your story. Feel free to contact me personally. Like I said, follow my Instagram. I would love to talk to you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free. Comment below. Feel free to contact me. And let me know other tips that you have to stay motivated. What do you do to keep yourself motivated? If I did not include that, please comment below and give some tips on what helps you stay motivated. At the end of the day, I believe in you. You can do this. Your book will be published. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It could be next year. But your book will be published. Just make that determination. Keep these tips in mind and just get to it, okay? So I love you guys so much. I'm excited for your future. I am excited to read whatever you have in store for me. And you guys have a beautiful day.